Want to bring in now presidential historian Douglas Brinkley to help us put this attempted assassination of Donald Trump into historical context. Douglas, it is so good to talk to you. This is still so stunning for many people to realize what happened yesterday, but there is precedent in American history.
Well, there is. I mean, we're sitting here and we're realizing just for the grace of a grace of God, really, it's half an inch, and President Trump could have died. So it's a really serious event. We talk about presidents have been assassinated, but some of presidents, like James Garfield, got injured and lived on for months and months. Ronald Reagan, after he was shot, he had a hard time fully recovering after it. The good news is President Trump seems to be roaring really to go. And, we've talked about him as a president or ex-president or head of the GOP. But he's been a showman his whole life. And the main maxim is the show must go on. His show will go on in Milwaukee. And everybody's going to be tuning in to see how he looks, how his ear is, and the message that he gives.
And Theodore Roosevelt survived an assassination attempt in 1912 in this very city that we're in right now, Milwaukee.
He did, and he was shot up close, and he was profusely bleeding. He may have died if it wasn't for his bird watching spectacles and the speech that was very thick. And the bullet went in there and lodged, and he said, "No, I'm going to keep speaking." And stood there turning faint, but put some energy in with that famous line, "It takes more than a bullet to kill a bull moose." They tried to get him after the speech to a Milwaukee hospital. They didn't know how to touch the bullet, and he ended up being shuttled to Chicago, where the great Nobel Prize winning Jane Addams, really created sociology, sat at TR's bedside. He couldn't go campaign anymore. That was the end for weeks on ends. He lost campaigning, where Donald Trump's really not missing a beat here. If anything, he's going to get this uptick in people watching him in Milwaukee come Monday.
No doubt. One of the other interesting things that we learned from the FBI today is they say that violent political rhetoric is actually ticking up from this assassination attempt. What does that say about the state of our politics?
It's sad. I mean, I'm one of those people that monitors Southern poverty law in Montgomery, Alabama, and we've been seeing the uptick in anti-Semitism and hate speech in our country. We're seeing a kind of ignorance about what government is. And it tells us that we're not teaching well. I mean, we're not going into the middle schools and high schools and doing good governance or civics education or learning about American history of the Constitution. And you get these, 20-year-old deranged gunmen who are reading and Lord only knows what, getting their inspiration from. And we're besieged by these kind of creepy characters in American history. Oswald killed Kennedy, and James Earl Ray, Martin Luther King. They become kind of famous as misfit freakazoids. But often people will try to make a political connection to it. But there is no room for this kind of hate speech. It feeds political violence. So let's hope people can tamp it down, and Joe Biden and Trump together across the aisle to help people bring the temperatures down. We're running a hard race, but we're not running a race to unravel a kind of anarchy across the land.
Yeah, Douglas Brinkley, presidential historian, always good to talk to you. Thank you so much.